So, recording is restarted. Waiting a few seconds for it to go away. Hello, I am Fireswamp, and I am joined by Hypnotic.
Hello.
Welcome to the third part of our Creeper World 4 intro, and in this video we will be completing the home mission. Okay, so we get a bunch of lore. This is basically just telling us to restart our jump drives. Okay, so let's first take a look around the map. So we have a bunch of things we do recognize. We've got a lift tick box, we've got a totem, we've got another totem, we have an info cache, and we have, well, a few things we don't recognize. We have something over here which is called an emitter, and kind of these weird pipe things. Now, general rule in Creeper World games is that if you can connect to them, they're friends. So we can connect to this totem, but we can't connect to this emitter. We can connect to the lift tick box, but we can't connect to the pipes. We can connect to the info cache. So we don't necessarily know what these pipes or this emitter are going to do, but we can kind of assume they're probably enemies from this. So we're going to want to start kind of away from them.
Yeah, and what Fire is doing right now is he's building on top of the high ground, as we did in the last map, Farside. And you might have noticed that there are no lab to protect at the beginning. We did that in Farside because the creep were dangerously close. But we can actually place the lab ourselves due to the warp drive, I think it's called. And that gives us a advantage that we can choose the high ground in this case, especially because all of the creep are down on these kind of volcano craters, and that should keep it contained for a very long time at least. So the high ground, towers, energy production, that's what we're going for.
Yeah. So the other thing is that in terms of actually placing your lab, different people have different preferences. How I like to do it is I like to place all my towers out in kind of the area I want to defend, and then I will place the lab in kind of the most central location because that'll get my network built out the fastest. So I don't, as compared to if I had placed the lab over here, the system would actually take a lot longer to build out. And the other thing on this map is we've just unlocked a new weapon, the mortar weapon. We'll get to that in a minute. But first, we're going
Yeah,
to
you
take
might
another
see
look
the
at these
pipe.
pipes. In
Yeah.
that, we had kind of guessed that they might have been enemies, but now we get to see them actually vomiting out Creeper. And similarly for the emitter out here. But what we kind of notice is that the pipe over here, the creeper level is slightly lower. It's getting back to normal, but it was actually a bit lower a second ago. And what's actually happening is that creeper from over here is being pushed over here, and similarly for between these two locations. So the other thing on this map, I said that we unlocked the mortar weapon. So the mortar is a weapon that exceeds at bombarding deep creep from the high ground. So what we're being given is a bunch of valleys here. So if we can set up mortars on these high grounds up here, they will hammer the creeper below very efficiently. So we want to try and place mortars up here to bombard each of those kind of areas. Because to compete this map, we need the lift tick box, we need the info cache, we need both totems. So we need access to all four of these valleys. And kind of how the mortars, like, to give a much more complete explanation, if you turn the top-down view, you can kind of see that the mortar can shoot further to the left than it can shoot up. And that's because the left is at a lower elevation than upwards. Because how mortars work is, you can actually see this one firing, it fires in an arc. So if you kind of think of how you would throw something, you can throw something further if you're at a higher elevation to that thing. And the other thing with mortars is that they don't actually target in the same way cannons do. Cannons will shoot the nearest creeper to them. But mortars, they will specifically target the deepest creeper that they can find in range. And the other thing with cannon range that we never really got into is that cannons require line of sight. So if you can kind of see, if I place a cannon up here, it can't shoot the low ground unless I place it right up against the edge, unless I place it like up against the edge of the cliff. And from the low ground, cannons can never shoot up. Cannons can never shoot a higher elevation than they are at. And this leads to this also leads to an interesting quirk of cannons require a line of sight. So you kind of see this rock outcropping right here. The cannon cannot shoot through it. So cannon positioning becomes very important. Whereas mortars, you can kind of place them a lot more freely, and they will bombard things very efficiently regardless.
Yeah,
But
you need to think a little bit more about cannon placement than mortar placement. Except, of course, you want the high ground for the mortars.
yeah, the mortar placement is a lot easier to get. The mortars are a lot easier to place very efficiently. And we have now just collected the info cache. So we have some lore here. However, now we're also given access to a new weapon. This weapon being the nullifier. So the nullifier, we want to. So the game is telling us to build a new nullifier near this great enemy. So the nullifier can only be placed in range of an enemy. We can't place it up here. We can place it down here, and how this works is it is a weapon that we need to build near these enemies, because it will nullify them. It will prevent them from functioning. So when this nullifier is finished building and fully powers up, it's going to disable this emitter and stop it producing all the creeper that it's producing.
Oh, we might be able to. Yeah, not bad, not bad.
Yep.
We can just snake past the creep and get the totem.
Yep. This tower might be a bit optimistic, but if it doesn't live, it doesn't live. Oh, it died.
Oh.
Whatever. Worth a try. Actually, I think this might be safe. Yeah. So now that you can see that this is nullified, this is no longer producing any creeper. And at this point now we're just waiting for all of the liftic to come out. And something we didn't get a chance to really go into on the last level. When the totems are completed, they will produce shields like this, which will actually push back creepers. So you can kind of see the creeper back here as opposed to down in the middle. That's because the shield pushed it out. And with that, we have completed the map. But before we head off, we're gonna do a quick demonstration on something that we talked about previously, but we didn't get a chance to demonstrate. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a really long snake here that's just gonna go up to this corner. We're just gonna move over here to build this up more quickly, and we want to kind of look at this nullifier. So right now this nullifier is kind of hovering around 21, 22 ammo. And as this lab gets further away, this number is going to go down. So now it's between 20 and 21. Now it's going down to 19. And this is going to keep going down. So what would happen if you brought this to the extreme? So if you had let this if you let this nullifier run out of ammo, it will stop working, as with most of your other weapons. So if you have an excessively long connection, what you can actually have, so we're just going to take another look at this nullifier. Now it's only sitting at like 12, and that number's about to probably go down, I think 10. Yeah, it's starting to get really low on energy there. This is starting to get a bit concerning. So we're just going to wait for these towers to finish getting built, and then we'll move the lab up to this location.
Yeah, you might also have noticed how long it actually took to build the entire snake. And that is, again, due to poor connection.
Yeah,
It really does a number on the build speed.
So yeah, while we're waiting for the nullifier to do its thing. The other thing you might have noticed is that the towers, the green around them has gotten a lot darker. This is because their efficiency has gone down. So we're actually producing less energy because of this. And now we're just going to watch this nullifier, because after this little packets of energy, now we're waiting on the packets that are going all the way around here. So this nullifier, you can watch its ammo go down the top left. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And now it's off, and this emitter has started up again. it's going to keep producing creeper from now on. And we need to wait for this nullifier to fully repower. Now, the other effect is you can see with this cannon. This cannon has now run out of energy and is also not firing at all. So now, we've got no nullifier on this emitter, and our weapons are basically just running out of energy. We have nothing to shoot the creeper that it's vomiting out. So, this is one of the main things about having a connection that's too long. Okay, and now the nullifier is back up and running, and you can kind of see you can kind of get a better idea of how the shield's working, how it's keeping all of this creeper back. But with that, that is the bulk of that demonstration. So that is the main reason you want to have shorter connections if you can make it. So with that, we have completed home. See you next time.
Bye.